But most people don't have the guts to make the tough decisions because they want to make the right decision, so they make no decision. And that's a decision. Isn't it true? Well, what happens is the world takes them over. So decision making is the power. Now, there's 3 decisions you're making every moment of your life and of your business. You're making it right now in this room. And if you're watching here on film especially, you might make some decisions because you're not in the environment that's different.
How do we make good decisions? Well, number 1, making correct decisions. You got to study. You got to know and understand. You got to know the background. You've got to know the historical outcomes of equivalent type decisions that have happened in the past, similar situations. And if you know the history and you know the background, then you can use those to assess the current situation you're in. And then once you assess the decisions that you can make, assess the possible actions that you can take, and then assess the outcomes that those decisions will have, those actions will have. And when you're doing that, you also have to assess the possibilities of inaction. So a lot of times people forget that one. They don't know if they should do A or B. What they forget is there's also, what if I don't do either? What's going to happen? Sometimes not doing either is good. Or a lot of times not doing either is bad. So you got A or B. What should you do? Maybe sometimes you got to pick A or B. Sometimes, occasionally, it's better not to do anything, and you wait and let the situation develop a little bit more. So the point of this is, whatever you can know beforehand, you know. You learn, you study, you understand, you know the standard operating procedures, you know what variations have been made on the standard operating procedures, and that's how you go forward and you execute. Now, the thing that you have to remember is that you can't know everything beforehand, which is why it goes back to study and practice detaching and making decisions. If there's a decision that needs to be made in a planning situation, step back from the plan. Don't just take a step back from it. Look at it more broadly. So that's step number 1, is to step back. Number 2, then you're going to come up with, hey, what are the possible decisions that I can make? I can go this way. I can go A, B, C, D. I can do any one of these things. Keep an open mind. This is the problem some people have, is they come up with 2 decisions, 3 decisions, and they don't think about anything else. So you kind of have to repeatedly detach. You kind of have to stay detached. You're de facto detached because you're letting them run with it. Then, okay, once you look at your decisions, then you got to look at what the possible outcomes are. What are the possible things that can happen? How bad could this go? Risk versus reward. You got to weigh those things out, and you got to do it fairly quickly. And again, you got to figure out what's the result or possible outcome for inaction, and then you just weigh out these various options that you've created, and you figure which outcome has the most, which one makes the most sense. That's what's good. And like I said, inaction is, some people any action is better than no action. Not always true. Not always true. Sometimes you can learn more by letting things develop and letting things reveal what the status is. So that does make sense, and sometimes you do hold off. If you can see that a problem is getting worse, though, well, then we got to do something. Then generally, okay, let's make some kind of a decision very quickly. Now, one of the most important things to remember, and there's a little dichotomy to this, is that you don't always have to make giant decisions. You don't always have to make the all-powerful decision of might. It's like, do we go or do we not go? You don't always have to say we go. Sometimes you can go, well, let's push a little further. let's move a little bit further before we make that decision. Or, hey, let's stay where we are and see if it develops. Or let's back up a little bit and keep watching. Look, so instead of we go or we don't go, there's actually a bunch of different decisions that you can make besides we can go or don't go. There's a building, there's a bad guy in it, let's go. Or let's not go. No, actually, let's put eyes on the target for a little while. Let's call and see if there's any other intelligence. Let's put an aircraft overhead. There's all kinds of decisions that you can make. Let's push a little bit closer. Let's stage. Let's monitor. So there's all kinds of decisions that you can make that allow the situation to develop further and maybe reveal the proper decision to you in the long run.